Welcome, fellow haunters and haunt enthusiasts that love haunted houses and how to build them. Ladies and ghouls, welcome to the 2014 daytime walkthrough of Hellmouth Haunted House. This is not going to be for entertainment purposes as much as it will be for informative purposes. So it's basically for the haunters out there that like doing this kind of stuff. Or if you want to see behind the scenes, it can serve as that purpose too. Just to give you guys an idea of how I run my show. First of all the tombstones in the yard are custom made. Even the store-bought ones like this one here are glued to another sheet of blue foam, and they are all dry locked. Take a look at Scary Lady videos here on YouTube for a tutorial on those. I also light the tiki torches every year, so there's one here and here and over there somewhere and right over here. I want people to be able to kind of see their way through the yard. I use LED lighting in the front yard with spotlights that I got from Lowe's. That is the only actual bulb that I still use out there, so the current draw on the circuitry is minimal. And this is a sign that I have up front. And this is the queue line. This is where everybody waited in line. And we had a huge crowd this year. It was really awesome. Guys, make sure that you post your notices so that people can see them. We also had a monitor here playing last year's, or actually 2011's scare video. The Northwest Harvest donation booth is lit with blue and white LEDs with a piece of plexiglass. And it's just a 9-volt battery that I've got in the box. Around the corner here is the first year that we ever did this. This was the makeup station. So we had 2 makeup stations here, makeup on the wall, and then back here is where we hung all of our costumes. And then the vest for street safety out front. So this worked really, really well. It got people out of the house so that we weren't tracking mud and everything through the house. And it was a great addition this year. I'm glad that I did. So we go through the yard. That's the bleeding skull fountain that I made a long time ago. I've got cattle gates over here that I made a couple years ago, and then these are the Gothic Fence pieces that I made several years ago, and all these are 2x2s. This is a 1x2 cut in half, so it was a piece of this, and they're just screwed together, and in the very bottom, about 15 inches up, I've drilled a hole and it's got rebar in, so that's how those are freestanding. And there's another one of the LED lights I was talking about. There's one of the tiki torches I was talking about. The boarded up windows here, these are really light because it's old fence board, so it's kind of rotted. And at the very top, I've just got a 2x4 with an eye in it. That way, if God forbid there's an emergency in the house, people can get out. And the only blemish that I've got on the house is the 2 eye hooks at the very top. As you go down our awesome travel path, and we make it to the backyard, got the fire lamps, which gave a really, really cool effect. The stereo inside the house is what gave sound to the speaker for the fire. And then this is the fog machine that blew into the fan. The fan blew the fog straight up against this wall, so the fog went straight up. Then you've got these fire lamps. The ultimate fright light is what controls the light for the entrance to the basement. All the boards on the side are put down at an angle. If you keep the back black, the entrance slightly lit, drop the ceiling down, it makes it look like you're actually going down. In the basement, we just have, a bunch of different props on the wall. This right here is gray matter. It's part of our backstory. LED candles. This right here was made several years ago. This is just a firelight. Back behind a piece of plexiglass. This was a stove that we made for Freddy's cage way back in the day. A couple different props, bones on the ground. This is a real sigh. This was a bird cage that we got at a yard sale several years ago. And that right there, that bird cage is a great addition to the haunt. That was so awesome. If you squeeze past the bird cage there, you come around the corner here. This right here is the solarium. We keep this pretty dark in here. We have a platform up here that the actor can sit up here. They can rustle the flowers here. They can even take a feather duster and reach out and touch the people as they come by here, like on the head, on the ears. Kind of gives a freaky effect. Then from there we have one light in here that pretty much lights this whole area in here. So if we do a 180 at the exit here, you can see a little bit better what these people have to go through in here. And if you go back behind this, this is how you get into the back. You climb up the ladder here to get onto the top of the platform, and that right there is the exit of the basement, the entrance to the solarium, where I just told you guys that people can get touched. And then we have a speaker here, volume's down now, but the speaker right here plays the sound of bees. This right here in the solarium at the exit was the sparking cage. Powered by just a battery charger. It is an extremely good effect, and it's also safe. The body has too much resistance, so you can touch this, and you can touch this finger to the fence, nothing happens. It's completely safe. You guys don't have to worry about getting shocked. We exit the solarium, and we have this little open area here set up with what used to be barbed wire and barrels. This right here is one of our egress exits. This right here, a couple years ago, I had this facade at the very front, and I decided to move it back this year. So we did a little fire effect. You'll see in just a second that this is actually just a shadow box. Everything that you see here, guys, is panels. These are 4x8 panels. This is just old fence board that's been attached to it. This right here is one 4x8 panel here, another 4x8 panel here, and then up here we have like a little piece of one that goes right there, and then another little piece of one, and then the door itself is also another 4x8 panel. And it's a real door, and each year all this stuff gets torn down also, so it's quite a big process to put everything up. This is the shadow box, the back that I was talking about. So all we have are electrical wires going into it, and then we've got the little flame lights, the flicker bulbs in there. So this is the entrance to the next part of the haunt. So we've got miscellaneous stuff up on the walls, decorations. We had an LED candle there, it fell down, pictures, and you've got the beginning of the plastic maze. This was an awesome maze this year, guys, and it had an awesome effect. This light that you see, you can see this all the way down through all the sheets of plastic at the end. So anything silhouetted in that light, you can see through all the plastic. On the top, I did have to take plastic on the top to keep the light in so that I didn't have light from in here bleeding over into other rooms of the haunt. And all this is the cheap plastic from Lowe's. Had this little guy here back behind the plastic. Some people saw him, some people didn't. But you know, that's kind of what you want, because people aren't going to notice every detail you put into your haunt, but if you don't have the details, they will notice. Like this guy up here, some people noticed him, some people didn't. So we keep going along the plastic maze. I've got egress doors throughout the haunt, which are just pieces of plywood that have been cut. It's, you know, a regular panel. And I've just cut a door into it. Continuing though, because I have squirrels. So this is the butcher room. So the butcher room has basically things that you would find in an old redneck, outdoorsy butcher type room. Miscellaneous tools, utensils, and we use everything real because we never get too close to people, so you know, why not, right? Oh, by the way, this was a last minute thing. The table is scrap, and we try to repurpose a lot of stuff in the haunt. So anyway, this is a light right here, and you guys can now see the silhouette of everything, and you can see how that can be an awesome effect for that. Now, I also have house lights on right now because this is a lights on tour, so that light is not on during the haunt, so there's only one light, only one direction of shadow. So, from the horse's skull, which is real, you go through this threshold and you go into the freezer room. Freezer room, then not only do you have the fan, you've also got the fog that's blowing down on you. And in the freezer, you've obviously got frozen people, frozen things. The walls, we used flocking on the walls and then a silver sparkle to get the effect of frozen walls. And we did the same thing to the props that are in here too. Oh, except for this one because I didn't want to mess him up. But most of the props in here, we went and did that sparkle paint too. Now the other feature here we have at the end of this rack that is actor controlled is this handle here, which controls the air scare, which is an air cannon right there just by the flip of the switch. So that when people are coming around the edge here, they get this burst of air coming down on them. A single blue LED spot to light this up. So the blue light is indicative of just, you know, being cold. And I have a lot of people say, oh my gosh, I'm so cold. So everything in here just worked. This is one of my favorite rooms in the haunt. So we go through this threshold into the kitchen. So again, multiple bloody ears and blood work all over on the walls. We used a yellow in the kitchen just because I hate yellow kitchens. Little known fact, Troy grew up with the yellow kitchen. Anyway, so we've got the sink and we've got great stuffed guts. We've got rats. We've got pots and pans and everything. Our backstory, there's a fight, a huge battle in the house. So that's why there's just stuff like all over the place. And of course, this isn't a real window back here. But it's funny, guys, if you put a curtain on a wall, people think it's a window. So we go through that threshold to here. We had a TV that's got the fuzz going on it. Again, LED candles in here. This is the living room. So we had LED candles over here. And this room was lit by just that light and the light of the television. We had a flash cracker here on the end of the television that was powered by an actor that was standing right here in the corner as you come out of the kitchen. And you go around that corner to the dining room. And the dining room was also what housed the prop car. I finally got this thing going. It was a really cool effect this year. So basically, it blows through the wall. In case you guys aren't familiar with it, this is a real 1989 Mercury Sable. I cut 2/3 of the car off and stripped it down, put it on tracks, fed it pneumatics, a little bit of power, and this is what this thing does. That by far was one of the best effects that we had in the haunt. And after people get scared from the prop car, we come around the corner to the hallway, and you guys know what this is, right? This is the drop panel hallway where the drop panel was right here. And then we're out, and this is our merchandising, and then everybody exits right around the corner of the house. Now, to give you guys a little extra, this is Egress. This is a single egress. So this is the drop panel that we just looked at. The drop panel's right here. And this egress door right here pops back out into this hallway here. So coming from that egress door right here, around the dining room table, we actually come into this egress here, which this is a long hallway that goes all the way to the front of the house. And then this hallway over here goes to the tech center. This is where we did our live feed. This is what controls the house lights. These lights right here. And then when we're running, we use black lights back here so that we can still see stuff, but it doesn't give a huge shine on the canopy. And I'll say the canopy because this right here is just black plastic stretched extremely tightly, 13 feet up in the air. So that's how we kept the rain from entering the haunt for the most part. And then this door right here comes back out into this area here. All right. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. You can post them down below in the comments. Like I said, this walkthrough is a little bit different. I'm still gonna do the nighttime walkthrough of, like, you know, actors and stuff like that. So try to catch that on the next video. This is it. This is Hellmouth 2014. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy haunting.